Hey, hey, what's up today? It's on my journey away with Kunal Kushwaha in the game. Cloud native's the name. Talking tech and dreams so high. Reach the clouds, touch the sky. Tune in, now don't be shy. Let's learn the how and why. My journey ever, so let's go. Together we will grow from zero to hero. Watch this magic flow. Coding challenges tackled here. Success stories now so clear. Tech community hold dear. We're all pioneers. From the basics to advance. Take a leap, take a chance. Kuno leads the dance in this cloud native expanse. My journey ever, so let's go. Together we will grow from zero to...
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of My Journey, where we explore fascinating stories of cloud-native pioneers and community builders. I'm your host, Steve Wade, and today I'm joined by someone who exemplifies the spirit of community leadership and innovation in our space. Today's guest is Kunal Kushwaha, the recently appointed field CTO of Civo and founder of We Make Devs. Kunal has personally one of the most influential voices in developer education and community building in the cloud native space. And I'm incredibly excited to get to speak to him today. So Kunal, welcome to the show.
Yeah, so thank you for the warm welcome. And the intro was I caught me off guard.
No
Was it
problem.
AI?
Yeah,
there
AI
was
for the win.
Yeah, that's nice. Cool. Thanks for having me. Very, very excited to chat and learn from everyone. Have a nice discussion. Yeah.
Yeah, and before we dive in, I want to say again, congratulations on your recent promotion. Like the impact that you've had on the cloud native community and Kubernetes in general, it's been remarkable, and this recognition's well deserved.
Yeah, appreciate it. It's the team is incredible. I get poached all the time, and people ask me, why are you at Civo? And yeah, I get poached all the time, and I'm just like, nah, it's just the team is amazing. They inspire each other every day, and we're building something really cool. There's not like, I don't think there's a single person I don't get along with. Not just me, but like everyone gets along with everyone. I love working at Civo. So good.
So I want to start right back at the beginning, right? So you've had quite a journey, right? You grew up in India, and then you took this big leap to come to London, and where, in my eyes at least, you've become a really prominent figure in the cloud native community here and across Europe in general. So could you share like some of your early experiences and kind of what drew you to tech when you're in India?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to be a doctor when I was like 15-ish, by the time I was 15. But then like you had biology in high school, and I didn't quite resonated with it. There was just too much memorizing stuff, and I'm terrible at memorizing things. And I picked computer science in high school. It wasn't anything too extraordinary, like teaching wise. I mean, the curriculum, it was very basic, simple C++, simple data structures like linked list, if else statements, that's it. But that is where my curiosity grew. And I was like, yeah, I enjoy programming. I like programming. I like tech. And I've always been into tech. Uh, I mean, video games, doing bits and pieces with hardware, building small stuff when I was a kid. Nothing extraordinary, but there was always this curiosity. And then I got introduced to it via my high school education, and started diving deep into it. And I was like, yeah, this is nice. Then I got CS computer science in university, and that's where it all then started. Yeah. But I wasn't coding since I was like a little kid. No.
So is it your parents that wanted you to be a doctor, or did you actually want to be a doctor yourself?
Oh, they couldn't care less. Just they're like, whatever you decide is fine. The younger generation knows best what is in demand.
Mm-hmm.
So you do you, we'll support you. So they have been very supportive.
That's great. So What was the moment kind of when you realized that you wanted to focus on this kind of developer education and community building? Was there like a moment that you can remember?
Yeah, so when I was in sophomore year, I learned Java and Golang and Python, machine learning, whatnot. I did it via like hackathons and just meeting people. Obviously, YouTube played a big role. I just watched a lot of random tutorials. Shout out to like, I don't know, Free Code Camp is nice. So many amazing tutorials. I also bought like some Udemy courses. They're like $5, so it's fine, not that expensive. Um, so I bought a lot. So I just studied a lot, that's what I'm trying to say, on my own free time from all of these various resources and by getting involved in communities. Then by the end of my like sophomore year, I started volunteering at local programming boot camps as a volunteer to like teach or teaching assistant or whatnot. In India, it's a very big business. Like people actually go to local programming boot camps to learn in addition to their university because the universities are not good. Unless you're going to like IITs or whatnot. Most of the university curriculum is not good. Very, very slow, very, very bad. I'm openly saying it because it's true. And people miss out and they feel like their growth is not happening. So you have to learn about things like cloud and Kubernetes and development, web dev, mobile, whatever. You have to learn it outside of your universities, which is why many of these businesses are thriving. I started, working part-time. I needed money, so I started teaching at these boot camps. So to answer your question, that's when it clicked. I realized I love teaching, and people told me I'm very good at it. So that's where my interest started. I think I love teaching. I love teaching. If there's a complex topic, I get to explain in a simple way, and then people are like, "Oh yeah, that clicks." I feel very happy. I love teaching. I could teach. Yeah.
Yeah, same. Right. I think you don't really truly learn and know something until you teach it to someone else, because you have to distill it down to such basic levels that actually requires you to know it to such a level that
Yeah.
you can
The other
actually
thing
distill
is,
it
yeah,
that low.
but yeah, the other thing is like you may know it at that level, but you might not be able to explain yourself. This is what a lot
That's
of
fair.
professors in India are like. They have done their PhDs and whatnot. Even in my university, PhD from the biggest like Indian educational institutes. But you ask them to explain like simple, I'm not trying to sound cocky, but it's true. You ask them to simply explain like simple binary search, they would not be able to do that. Because in their mind, they know it, but they find it harder to explain.
Yeah.
I think part of the reason is like that is why being a beginner is like one of the really best skills you can have. And because you understand what people would get stuck with. The more experience you get, you try to be like, okay, this is pretty common sense. They would know it. But if a beginner is teaching you, they would know, okay, this is where you would get stuck, and this is what you should keep in mind. So I think
Definitely.
that's why being a beginner is very good.
So, Kunal, like one thing that caught my attention when we've met and we've chatted at many conferences, right, is your passion for watches, and mine as well. So I'd love to hear where that interest came from and like how you feel it intertwines with your tech journey that you've been on.
Ah, I don't know how to put it. Well, first of all, like I had, I really don't know how to put it. So when you get some money, you're like looking to spend it. I don't know what's the best way to put it. I never really had these hobbies. Like I had some hobbies with like shoes and stuff, but I realized I like wasted a lot of money on that. I think shoes were like a bad investment for me. Well, it wasn't an investment, but it made me happy for a bit, but it wasn't like sustainable. Like I was like following a cult, the sneakerhead cult. I hate that now. I gave away all my Jordans or Yeezys and whatnot.
Wow.
I literally gave it to my friends, and I have Allbirds now, which are just simple shoes, 80 quid, simple. Watches, on the other hand, like I think I was just interested in it. It all started with like Apple Watch, first of all. That's how it started. So I got the Apple Watch, and it was nice. I had it for a few years. It started bugging me. like all the notifications and whatnot.
Yep.
And I'm like, what is this? I'm working so hard in my life, and this is like even more stress. The whole point of working hard is so, you have a good life. This is not good life. No hate to Apple. I love Apple. I have every product apart from the Apple Watch. I have also the Vision Pro and everything.
Wow.
I love Apple, but I hate Apple Watch. I think it's a very, very personal thing. If I don't like Apple Watch, it doesn't mean it's not good. I'm sure it has helped a lot of people. I constantly I hated it. So I was like, okay, let's get a real watch. And then I was like, okay, I got a Tag Heuer, because it's like relatively, it's like 1,000
There you
quid or
go.
something. It's still a lot of money, but I got a Tag Heuer. It was not automatic. And then I started researching, and then I was like, oh, wow, there are automatic watches. And then I started researching about the movements, spring drive, perpetual calendar, chronograph, tourbillon, all these other things. And I just got sucked in the ecosystem. And then, then I started buying watches on occasions. So like when I buy a first house, you get a watch. Your first promotion, you get a watch. Parents' X anniversary, you get a watch. You gift them a watch. And that's how it started. I'm not a big collector, but I when I do buy, I buy nice watches because I love watches. Last one I got was on my 25th birthday. Next one I'll get will be probably on my 30th birthday. So
Maybe a little small gift for Field CTO.
no, I'm trying not to buy watches. It's also so hard to get. I always buy on retail. I will never pay a third party person. And my Rolex ADs, you know how they can be. It's like very rare.
Yep.
I would never buy on secondary market, and that's also another reason. Yeah, but I'm not a big collector. I just I would never buy it as an investment. If I buy it, I'll wear it.
Yeah. I'm a mixture of both, as you know. Some are
But
investments.
it's nice to have hobbies. I think
Yeah.
it's good to have hobbies.
And I think, for me personally, right, I think it's the connection between like the precision engineering in watches and then like what we do and what
so
we
good.
build in tech,
Yeah.
and how, like, I was watching this program. I should actually send it to you. I think it's AP watches, or maybe it's, I think it's AP watches. When they get made, 130 people touch the watch to build it, which just blew my mind. Like, we build such complex systems, but
I love the
130 people don't
engineering.
touch it.
Yeah,
So,
the engineering is just so good. Yeah.
yeah, it's phenomenal. So, moving swiftly on from watches, otherwise we'll spend the whole show talking about them. You founded We Make Devs, right, which has grown to over 100,000 members, which is just incredible. Like, that blows my mind. Like, what inspired you to start that?
Yeah, I mean, I was a part of a lot of student programs like Major League Hacking. Shout out to them. They're doing some amazing work. Check it out. GSOC, Outreachy, Google Coding, LFX mentorship, and whatnot. I felt like when I was teaching on my YouTube channel, I was getting a lot of community members join. And obviously you need like a you need like a group or something to push them towards. If you have doubts, if you want to know about announcements, any events and stuff that we're doing. I felt like it wasn't sustainable if I did it under my name. So I just did it under an organization. But We Make Devs, we did a bunch of stuff here and there. Wasn't that organized. But we still grew to like 100K. On our Twitter, we have like 71,000 genuine people who have followed us. Newsletter 50,000. It's just so many people. So I was like, wow, this is like a lot of people. I should put some investment behind it and just get a team and do it nicely. So we literally launched 2 weeks ago, and we are doing some nice things. We are doing a hackathon this month, which will be fun. We're doing an in-person mini conference next month, which will be nice. And next year, I plan to do a lot of stuff with open source. So I have some nice things planned. And I don't see We Make Devs as a separate entity, apart from what the community is always doing, because we love collaborating with other people. I got on a call with the guy from VR Developers, with the CEO. He's very cool. Um, so the whole point is like, okay, it's an organization, we're doing stuff, but I'm also happy to always collaborate. If you're doing similar stuff, reach out to me. We can help each other. In the end, it's all about the community. So it's not like I don't see this as a competition. If you're in the similar space, you're doing something for the open source maintainers, community members, engineers, cloud native space. Yeah, I see it as a colleague. Yeah.
So, what have been some of the most rewarding moments in building this community, right? From taking it all the way to 100,000? Are there any standout moments?
Yeah, we did a cloud native hackathon in 2021. It was so good. Like 17 countries, people from 17 countries took part. That was back in 2021. CNCF was sponsoring, a lot of nice people sponsored. It was really, really fun. I think I can do that on a bigger scale. But I think just people sticking around after so long, even when the community is not that active, shows that how willing people are to just, be involved.
Yeah.
But that's the thing with communities, you have to give them something to contribute towards, keep them active. That's what our plan is. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where you go next. You've done such
Yeah,
impressive
it'll
stuff
start
already,
this
so
month.
let's see how this moves.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
So before we move on, I want to ask you a question from the previous guest, right? So you're probably aware of the tradition. The previous guest leaves the question for the next guest, not necessarily knowing who they are. So Lachlan Ivinson, or Lockie as he's known, he asked, what can the cloud native community improve to make the community more welcoming for newcomers? And like, as someone who's built such a thriving community yourself, I think that's a great question. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think there are three things to this. There's the motivation part, that's one. And then there's the actual education part. And then there is the governance part. So I think the motivation part, so let's start with the education part. You have to, obviously, if you're building a community, you have to make it straightforward for people to get onboarded, which means like beginner-friendly resources, have mentorship programs, inclusive communication, avoid any jargon. A person who may feel like, okay, I'm a beginner, I may not be able to contribute, that should not be their like response. They should be able to see that, okay, there are beginners contributing, there are these resources. So good examples are like documentation, resources, learning resources, examples, case studies, YouTube tutorials or whatnot, contribution guidelines, good first issues. If you do this, I think you're good to go. That's fine. And communication channels. And then the motivation part comes from like highlighting these contributions. So someone who is already contributing, you can highlight their contributions. CNCF does this nicely. So people will get motivated, right?
Yeah.
I won't go too much onto it. It's self-explanatory. Third one being just enforce a code of conduct to guide new members to be like more friendly and just, to make sure they're adhering to the code of conduct so that they can bring in then more people. But I think it all starts with making it more inclusive. So yeah, documentation, content, good first issues, communication channels, representation, and that's it.
I think that's a good list. I would veto that list as well. I think that that you've hit the nail on the head there. So your work as DevRel or developer relations at Civo started in 2021, right? And it's been super impressive. I've seen what you've been doing. Like, what attracted you to DevRel, and like, how has your approach evolved over the last couple of years since you've been in that role?
Yeah, DevRel's cool. I started before that. I had like some technical, more highly technical, like data engineering, Kubernetes related roles at some other companies. Then I joined Civo, and I think DevRel, I did not actually find DevRel. I think DevRel found me, which is something that is common. You'll see in most people. So after I did these internships, it was all highly technical, all software engineering internships and part-time roles. And then I got reached out, like I spoke to someone at Civo because I had a Google offer that got revoked due to COVID. So I was like, is anyone hiring interns in my sophomore year? And then Civo was like, yeah, we'll hire you. You have a good profile. We saw your contributions in Kubernetes. And I was like, cool. What is it? SRE, Golang? What do I do? What's the role? They were like, DevRel. You will be nice with DevRel. And I didn't have a YouTube channel back then. My YouTube started afterwards. And I was like, okay, what is DevRel? They were like this, and then that. I was like, okay, that sounds cool. So I was under the impression I was going to do like some Go developer or junior dev or something. But Mark was like, you could do really good DevRel stuff. We're looking DevRel people. I was like, okay. And then I did that as an intern. Then I joined full-time DevRel manager. Did that for 2 years. Now field CTO. DevRel was fun. Yeah, we can talk on and on about DevRel. If you have any specific questions, I can answer.
I don't. Maybe the audience do, and we can ask them when we get to the section. There's a bunch of questions coming in, so I'll make sure that we've got enough time at the end to answer them. So you obviously transitioned and moved from India to London, right? And that must have been a significant kind of moment in your life, and also the transition must have been somewhat complicated. So like, how has this international move like influenced your perspective on global tech communities?
Yeah, I don't know how to put it. India is big, huge. It's great.
That's an understatement.
I was at GitHub Universe and they announced that India has the most number of developers. I feel like it's I don't know how to put it. I feel like there's obviously a lot of potential. It's only going to grow. I mean, you see it, world's biggest tech CEOs, all Indian origin. There's
Yeah.
obviously a pattern you see. You can't ignore that. In San Francisco, you see so many VCs. I've met so many VCs. So many of them are Indian. So obviously the Indian people are getting highlighted. Like you see that, it's Indian Americans are the highest paid people in the US.
Mm-hmm.
So there's obviously this pattern. I feel like infrastructure-wise, India is lacking. It may change, I think, in the future, but infrastructure-wise, I think India is lacking quite a bit. Does not even come close to US and Europe. World's best place for tech is San Francisco, well, US. Nothing comes close. California is the best. Even London doesn't come close. VCs wise, US is the best. European VCs do not come close to US VCs. India is growing. I think there are people who are investing. There are some VCs and stuff out there. I don't think anything compares to US. US is the place, which is why a lot of people from India move to the US. A lot of people who live in India incorporate their businesses in the US.
Yeah.
Because it's just so simple.
Mm-hmm.
And I think until and unless the government changes these regulations, invest more in the infrastructure, which I know they are doing. I respect that, appreciate that. I know India is growing, but man, what the US has now. If I'm a founder, yeah, I would register my company in the US. I feel sad to say that because I'm Indian. I love India. I'm very patriotic. And then some people are like, okay, why don't you live in India then? Well, I'm young. I want to explore and I travel a lot. So moving from London to various parts of the various countries is good. Plus, I really love working in person, and a lot of a team are in London, the Civo team. Even though remote work is great, I love meeting people in person. Plus, Delhi is just not a good place to live. Like Delhi, Mumbai, too much pollution. I really hope the government solves it. If Delhi has AQI 2, I would move tomorrow. I love Delhi. Amazing food. And my family is there, everyone is there. If Delhi brings AQI down to 2, air quality index, I will book my flight tomorrow. I'll ask Civo to like, hey, can you just, give me the Indian contract. Mumbai is crazy, 200 AQI. Mumbai real estate is more expensive than London. Why would I move to Mumbai? If I can buy a house in London that is cheaper than Mumbai, why would I? Even New York, same thing with Delhi. Property prices are crazy. Just doesn't make sense for India. Bangalore, hot take. Bangalore is nice, but too much traffic, and then I don't know.
Agreed.
um, so, and I love cities. I love big cities. I love New York. I love London. I love Delhi. I love Mumbai. Big cities. But big city options in India very limited. So much pollution, so much stuff. I really hope the government solves it. People deserve good quality air. That's my answer to why I don't live in India. Taxes, man, the taxes in India are crazy. 45%?
Yeah.
No, I'm not paying that in India. I'm happy to pay 45% in London, not in India.
Yeah.
You don't get that much infrastructure. You don't get anything. No healthcare, nothing. Um, uh, yeah, the taxes in India are crazy. It's 45%. Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. So now you're field CTO. Like, what's your vision for Civo, and like, how do you plan to shape the company's direction?
Well, we are going to invest in India. We're going to do some stuff in India. We haven't announced it yet, but we're doing in some other regions as well. So India, some other regions we're going to plan in the future. Big plans to uplift the community outside US and Europe. But my role that has changed now is obviously it's more customer focused, I would say, more a strategic role, working directly with enterprise customers, partners, and all those prospects. More aligned towards companies' technology roadmap, business needs of the clients, and all sorts of things. Unlike DevRel, which is more community oriented. So I think that's what the main change I have seen. Yeah.
Interesting times. I look forward to the
It's nice.
announcements.
I like it. I like it. I love the team. I am very excited. Yeah.
So your work in the Kubernetes and cloud native space has been significant, right? So like, what
Mhm.
aspects of this ecosystem kind of excite you the most, would you say?
I like how it's ever evolving. So many things happening, and there's always room for opportunity. So I like how things keep changing. Like with the VMware acquisition, it changed quite a lot, and then we got a lot of customers who wanted to move away from VMware. So I think a lot of tools coming out, AI stuff happening. It feels like this is the place to be. So I'm always busy. So I like that. You know how like when you're in a field, you feel like, okay, this will get obsolete, so I need to find another job. I
Yeah,
don't feel like that's the case in cloud native. I think we're good.
for now,
Yeah, for now.
until all
I
of
don't think
the
Kubernetes is going anywhere. It's fine. At least next 10 years, I think we're good.
yeah, true. So how do you see kind of the intersection of developer education and cloud native technologies like evolving? If we're talking and looking at the next 5 to 10 years, I'll drop in the word AI in the mix for us to have a conversation around that.
No, it's good. I think it's good. And AI is definitely, it's here to stay, especially in the field of education. I'll keep it very simple. It's not going to replace anyone, but with the whole AI education thing and everything, all the AI tools, it's just going to reduce the barrier to entry to get into tech. So it might be a hot take or not, but writing code isn't the real, well, the main part.
Mm-hmm.
You can find people to write code. I think it's problem solving, communication, working in a team to work on a solution, and then code part comes later. If an AI can help you do that, save a lot of time, write tests, write documentation, what's the problem? It's a good thing. You can focus on other stuff. So many problems you need to solve, like cancer research, so many things you need to solve, environment, uh, global warming or whatnot. Um, so I think in the future, the barrier to entry is going to be reduced because of AI tools, and AI is going to play a huge role. I think it's still doing in the AI education space, just automating a lot of these tasks, and then people can focus more on like problem solving and other things.
Yeah, I
So I
agree,
think
right?
as future engineers, maybe in the last decade you could get away from it, but now team building, communication skills, these are empathy, these are the things that are going to be really valuable.
Yeah, I agree. I think like we're going to be doing more interesting work and let the kind of AI tooling do the more mundane and like kind of heavy lifting. Obviously, there's a whole interesting piece about the empathy behind AI and whether it's empathetic, etc., etc. But I think, yeah, I think we're going to be solving the more difficult problems and letting AI do the more simpler or potentially more complex things depending upon what you're asking it. But yeah, I definitely think the barrier to entry is going to reduce significantly in the next couple of years. Like you can ask ChatGPT or Claude or name any other AI tool. A lot of
Yeah.
complicated like
Relax AI. Shout out to
coding.
Civo. We have a tool as well. Relax AI. Check it out.
There you go. And Relax AI. I'll put that in the show notes. So moving from developer relations to field CTO, right? That's going to be quite a significant transition. Like, what have been some of the biggest challenges you faced kind of along the way right now? Obviously, it's relatively new.
Yeah, this is funny because I don't really see much of a change because my role was DevRel, but I was doing a bunch of stuff, right? So even though my role was DevRel, I was still talking to enterprises, still talking to customers. I traveled a lot, but I think my role in DevRel was more heavily focused. And then I think it was just time for newer challenges, I would say. But with DevRel, you're focusing on fostering the community, your developer's best friend. So you're like teaching the developers how to use your company's projects, be that via conferences, documentation, tutorial, YouTube videos, blogs, and stuff like that. I did a lot of events, mainly a lot of tutorials and stuff. Open source projects like the open source marketplace, I maintain that. So I think the focus is on making the technology more accessible, whether whichever company you work with. You get feedback from the developers and you address their pain points. So it's highly involved in, as a DevRel, you're highly involved in advocating for developers' needs and ensuring that they have all the resources and the support to build on the platform and the product that your company offers. So that's DevRel. It's more community focused and more in relation with the developers. Field CTO, as I already mentioned, more customer focused, more of a strategic role. You're working directly with enterprise customers. You're talking to them. What are their needs? You provide technical guidance, ensure that all of their technical needs are met, and communicate that feedback to influence the roadmap for Civo. We already have a big roadmap already. We are very excited. We have so many things on the timeline. So you'll see announcements at Civo Navigate in San Francisco. Sorry for the plug.
I'll be there.
But yeah, more on the technical, vision of the company and working together with the team for like a long-term value-driven partnership to drive strategic business growth. So you can see less directly related to community stuff, more of big boys, big people stuff.
So you started your life, if we go right back to the beginning, like doing biology, science, etc., etc., and then you kind of did this transition to tech. So like, what kind of resources did you use early on to kind of perform this pivot? Right, I did a similar pivot myself, so I'm kind of intrigued to see how you learn and see whether that kind of correlates to how I did.
It wasn't quite a pivot. I was just trying things out. I don't think the pivot really happens till you're in university. By the time I got in university, I already was in tech. I did some C++ in high school and something here and there. I don't think my life had a pivot because I was a kid. Kids, that's what being a child is all about, exploring your options. Yeah.
That's true. So kind of since university, say until like the present day, like what kind of tools and techniques do you use to learn new technology? So let's say like I don't know.
I always learn by doing. I would never try to be an expert when I'm getting started. I'll try to be an expert only when I feel like, okay, I like it. It's relevant to my field, my company, my industry. But I just learn by doing. I would obviously, first of all, read the documentation, what it's about. I will get involved in the community. I would talk to the engineers sometimes because sometimes, they are looking for feedback. So I will be happy to help them if I'm really interested in the tool. And then I will just maybe attend a talk on it, run it on my local system, and try to integrate it in my existing solutions. Like how does it help me? how does it help me in my life? What is it that I'm doing already where I can use this? And then I just play around with it. I just play around with stuff a lot. I don't try to take it too seriously. Just play around with it and see what the industry trends are like. And then that's another role that like field CTO. You gotta be up on your game with the industry trends, so you're always up to date um, in the industry. Yeah.
Yeah, constantly moving, right? It's difficult to
Yeah.
keep up with absolutely everything. Like you got to choose what things you're interested in, and unfortunately, let some of them go by. As well, I think that anyway. Um, like, how did you start building this global network? Right, if we look at 100,000 members, I started. I currently have 1,000. Like, what are some of the skills, techniques, tips to kind of grow to those numbers? Obviously, I need to go and embrace India and go and do more stuff
Yeah,
there.
I mean, most of my members, like most of the members came from YouTube.
Mhm.
I do like really highly like high level technical stuff now, like not beginner friendly stuff. I do it sometimes here and there, but that's where I wanted to pivot my channel. I do stuff, here and there sometimes, but the members came from YouTube.
Mhm. Is that where
Yeah,
you'd say like that was the turning point? They really started to expand once you started
yeah.
building
I
out
think
YouTube.
YouTube is my Twitter or X or my LinkedIn and my YouTube, my Discord, Telegram, everything, website traffic. I think it all came via YouTube.
Yeah, your Twitter follower numbers insane.
And also it's like speaking at conferences also helped. Yeah, I spoke at a lot
Yeah.
of events. Collaborating with other communities helped
Hmm.
because then they get to watch my channel and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So Prashant asked a question which I think is really interesting. Like, I'm going to paraphrase this a little bit, but like, what strategies help you stand out in the remote market?
Be relevant. I mean, if you are good at what you do, then a company would hire you. And just to stand out, open source contributions are nice. Blog post, thought leadership. I don't like that word, but sure. Um, just helping people solving their problems, be highly technical or whatever your role is, for example, be really good in that. So if you can prove you're good in that, then I don't think you need to worry. Maybe job market is tough here and there, but overall, I think you'll find a role. I personally know people who are hiring. So why is it that I'm getting reached out and others are not? Or my friends, why is it that my friends are getting reached out and others are not? So I would say open source is a good bet. If you can contribute to really nice projects, you'll learn a lot, you'll get a lot of skills. That's it. Just be
Yeah.
very good at what you do and represent that. You don't
Agreed.
need a big following.
Agreed. Yeah. It's to me at least it's personal brand, right? It's putting yourself out there. It's being
Yeah,
comfortable.
and you don't need a
Good.
no, I was saying you don't need a big following when you talk about personal brand. It's more about just credibility.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So, what emerging tools in the cloud native technology space are you most interested in right now, and why?
eBPF is cool. I think a lot of people are I'm seeing a lot of monitoring tools utilize it. Um, Emerging tools. Tu- 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 tu. A lot of internal developer platforms that are getting funded, like really, really crazy funded.
Like port.
Like Port, for example, they got 35 million,
Yeah.
which is nice. Good for them. I know that founder Zohar, shout out to them. They're doing some amazing work. I love the team is very nice. So I think this area, but obviously anything. I I I'm really interested in. Okay, I'll give a different example. I won't say AI. Obviously, AI is going to boom, but I won't say that. I'd say sustainability
Yeah.
because like data centers and they generate a lot of heat. There's a company called Deep Green that we work with at Civo. They take the heat generated from the data centers to heat the swimming pools. You can heat the houses and whatnot. I feel like some governments are also now going to mandate, like, okay, if you're causing this environment pollution, you either reuse the heat or you pay a fine.
Yeah.
So I think that's the next thing, like in the next 5-10 years. I'm very excited about sustainability aspects. Yeah. So if I had to pick one, that, yeah.
Yeah, sustainability is interesting, right? There was
We are big. Yeah. No, go ahead.
I was having this conversation. There's a company in Saudi Arabia that have a data center that can fit 200 server racks, but right now they can only fit 8 server racks in because of the amount of heat that's given off. They're essentially all GPUs, so the amount of GPU heat is just incredible. And now they're trying to work out how they can reuse the heat to cool the data center, so they can add more racks to that's super interesting.
Yeah, companies are doing that. I think we'll get there. Obviously, we are big on the sustainability front at Civo. We do all of our efforts towards sustainability, and yeah, very excited. Even India is doing a lot of stuff now with sustainability. A lot of data center providers and a lot of factories and everyone. I spoke to them. They were doing some very good, promising stuff. So yeah, good job.
I've got 2 more questions, and then we'll open it up to everybody on the live stream and see what they have to ask. So what advice would you give developers who are just starting their journey? And like, I'll caveat that with, especially those from non-traditional backgrounds or like different parts of the world.
Just get started. That's the only advice. Just get started. It doesn't matter. Pick a language, framework, whatever, build stuff. The most important part is getting that feeling of programming, just getting accustomed to it, and then just branch out, pie-shaped learning. Know everything about something about everything. But the ideal answer to getting started is just get started, because then you'll explore other fields. But I think the most difficult programming language is your first programming language.
Yeah.
Just get started. Doesn't matter. Just get started. Build projects. Learn by doing. Don't try to be an expert. Just get started. Build projects. Contribute to open source. Connect with people, and that's it. If you ask me which is the best language, best framework, best industry, whatnot, resources and anything to recommend, no idea. I don't know. Just get started. YouTube, Free Code Camp, random blogs.
Yep.
So many places out there. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to hand this over to the audience. So we'll start with, hopefully this works. We'll start with Vahab. Hopefully I've pronounced that correctly. You can tell me if I've incorrectly. Vahav. Sorry.
Yep.
Says, hi Kunal, what would you suggest for anyone who wants to learn DevOps from scratch? What are the prerequisites and the roadmap?
Tech with Nana has a good roadmap. You can check it out. It's free. Tech with Nana. There's also roadmaps.sh.
Yeah.
But if you want my answer, stick with the basics. I see the mistake that people make is in the name of learning about cloud and Kubernetes, they will just do courses like by Google Cloud or AWS, and they learn how to use GCP services or whatnot. That's not how you learn DevOps and cloud. It's just, I mean, don't get me wrong, you can learn about a cloud provider like GCP, AWS, but that comes later. First, learn about the basics like Linux, networking, learn Linux, then networking, database management, some bits and pieces about data structures, algorithms. Not as important, but little bit.
Yeah.
Then learn a programming language, learn about Kubernetes, then Docker, then Kubernetes, and then learn about infrastructure as code, bunch of others, platform engineering, navigate the CNCF landscape, learn about monitoring, logging, whatnot. But don't just directly jump onto a cloud provider courses.
Yeah, my hot take is don't do any certificates, mainly because they're just an exercise in being able to regurgitate something. Like the most important thing, specifically when you're in an interview, right, is like, what practical experience do you have? Like, give me an example when something, and that only comes with I would say
100% you are right. If you want to do certificates, this is not an endorsement, but like CKA, CKAD, these are nice. Like they have value. You can do these. But if you're just doing random Udemy certificates in your resume, that's not going to have any value. These are not proctored exams.
Agreed.
So if it's a proctored exam, that has, I think, value. Yep.
So Prashant wants to know
Open-ended,
what's the
open-ended
theme?
hackathon.
Open. There
It's
you
going to be
go.
open-ended, but we're going to use some infrastructure tools for you to deploy it. We're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be big. We're giving away like MacBooks and stuff, so we're putting a lot of money in it.
Yeah, I got a little sneak peek, and it's pretty cool. I'm excited.
Yeah. So if you want to win MacBooks, you should join.
He also asked, what kind of laptop did you have first? He's only young, so probably a MacBook.
When I was starting out, I had a basic simple Linux laptop. I think it was Acer or something. It wasn't that expensive. I did not have a powerful laptop. I got a powerful laptop when I did Google Summer of Code in my first year.
Mm-hmm.
From that money, I got a MacBook Pro.
It's a good reinvestment.
Yeah, but it was a good investment. Yep.
So Eaton Code asks the question that everyone knows that you rave about, right? As soon as he enters somewhere, he's looking for the first food place. So what's the first item to eat when you arrive in the US?
Oh, US just really good. Like, I don't want to sound terrible. US has healthy food. Don't get me wrong, but they do really good non-healthy food. So I have had the grilled cheese here, so good. The grilled cheese in the US is so good. I love grilled cheese here, and they have good Mexican food. You can eat Mexican food. I couldn't find good Indian food in SF. Maybe I have to go to Palo Alto.
My hot take is that
Mexican.
that there's no good Indian food in the US.
Interesting. New York has good Indian food.
I've been to New York, but I've never had
So
good
good.
Indian food there. So
No,
maybe I went to the wrong
you
place.
missed out. Let me know when you're gonna. New York has good Indian food.
I used to spend a lot of time
But I
there.
think, yeah, Mexican food is nice here. You can have Mexican, a lot of vegetarian options if you're vegetarian. Oh, you're vegetarian, so yeah, a lot of vegan options. Don't worry. Yeah.
Shirashit asks, what resources did you use to find remote jobs, and how can one attend tech events?
Well, Civo was my first full-time job, so I didn't really job hunt, luckily. But I get reached out via socials because of my profile. So I would say just have a nice profile and people will reach out. But LinkedIn is nice. Go to events and conferences. That's nice. If you're active in an ecosystem, you can get to network with people. You can ask them if they are hiring. Yeah. How can one attend tech events when they are so costly? Reach out to the organizers and ask for a free ticket.
Yeah, there's lots of scholarships, and I can't remember what the right phrase is now for KubeCon, but they have some diversity scholarships and stuff like that.
Dan Con scholarship.
That's it. JR asks, where are you right now? I know, but you can share the beans.
San Francisco. I'm here
This
for
guy,
2 weeks.
he moved to London,
Salt
but he's
Lake
never there.
I am there. Like 7 months out of the year. I have to be there for visa purpose.
That's very true. And Prashant asked again, would you mind telling more about the upcoming meetup?
Mid-December in Delhi.
Is it going to be in line with when KubeCon's there?
Yeah. Not during KubeCon, but outside KubeCon. I don't think you're allowed to do, I don't want to do stuff during KubeCon because I really want the CNCF to get, nice people.
Yeah.
And if I do, then some people will go here and there. So I'll just do it different than KubeCon. Yeah.
Robin says Web3 versus AI.
No comments. AI, because I have not gotten into Web3. So for my lack of knowledge, that's why I'm saying AI.
Robin, do you want to state in what aspect you mean, and then maybe I'll have an opinion, because that's quite a generic, just X versus Y there.
I would love to learn more about Web3, but yeah, the Civo Navigate offers scholarships for it, and we do, but only for speakers. Speakers, yep.
How many leak code questions? Joe said, how many leak code questions to land in Civo?
We don't do lead code interviews.
That's good. How do Drishan, I think that's correct, says how to improve your profile and projects to approach as a fresher while looking for interns and jobs in your final year as computer science. There you go. That's you to a T, Kunal. I can't really help with that very much.
Contribute to open source, build projects, and represent that in the public, like write blogs and just, I don't know, man. Think big, think outside the box, and I don't know. What I mean is, like, when you're a student, just try to see how you can challenge yourself. You know, don't try to pose yourself as a student. I mean, you're a student is fine, but don't try to think that it's going to be a limitation. I think being a beginner is one of the best skills you can have, and people are looking to hire young people. So I would say, if I had to give one advice, contribute to open source in your relevant field. There you will find network, you will improve your resume, you will get a lot of skills, you will find referrals, you will get the opportunity to speak at events, and that's it. Yeah. Contribute to open source.
One more. Prashant said, how many hours did you used to study?
No, don't burn out. I think it might be a hot take, but hustle culture is a myth. I have never done the extreme hustle, like, all-nighter and working 20 hours a day and whatnot. I feel like you have to have a good balance between work and fun and
Agreed.
family. And I don't, even right now, I try to keep a nice balance. And I'm very passionate about my job, but it's not like, I'm working 18 hours a day, burning out, not sleeping. No, I get 8 hours of sleep. I eat good food. I go out, have fun, and I work nicely. So I feel like if you do, I don't know, if I work so like without focusing on my health, I think it is going to be bad for the company because I won't be much productive. So I don't think you should track productivity by hours. And that is why I don't have an answer to that. I don't know how much hours I studied because I never tracked it.
Yeah. When
Yeah,
you study
I
when
don't
you need to.
remember. Yeah, I don't remember.
So Eaton Code says, what are your views about Web3? I have my own opinion, which is
I don't
like
have any. Yeah, you go ahead. I don't have any opinion.
the biggest problem isn't the technology, right? It's that it keeps trying to solve problems that most people don't have, right? Like regular users don't wake up wanting decentralization straight away, right? And the majority of Web3 apps can actually be written just as regular Web2 apps. Like I think like not everything needs to be on the blockchain, right? And there's only certain types of application that will and should reside even on the blockchain, and the large majority of them don't need to. So I think it's cool, but it's like being oversold in some industries, and like yeah, I don't think we need it. I think Web 2 is just fine, personally.
Yeah, I don't know about Web3 much. I have not researched about it, but I would later. It's just so much happens, so many things happening. I'm always occupied. I don't want to information overload.
Yeah, it's a rabbit hole.
Anyway,
Cool. So yeah, with that, Kunal, it's been fantastic having you on the show. Right, your journey from India to London, like building We Make
someone asked.
Devs. Oh, go on.
Yeah, no, just someone asked, is We Make Devs planning to hire team members? Yes, we will have a careers page soon. So just go to the website, but we will update the career page shortly. There you will find it. Yep.
Good to know. Be on the lookout. Get an RSS
Mhm.
feed. Yeah. So as I was saying, it's been a pleasure sitting down with you. You know, we've been friends for a while now, and like you building We Make Devs and your new role, like super inspiring.
No,
Do you have?
appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity and the thanks for the what you're doing with the club. It's very cool.
No
Happy
problem.
to support.
You have any questions for me? I've sat here and asked you questions for the last 55 minutes.
Are you coming to Salt Lake?
I am not. I will not be in Salt Lake. It will be the first KubeCon North America that I haven't been to since it began.
Okay,
So yeah, unfortunately, I will
cool,
not be
cool.
there. But I'll be at Civo Navigate in San Francisco. So
Nice.
I'll get my
See you
US
there.
fix soon enough.
All right. Thanks for
So yeah,
having me. Bye, everyone.
yeah. With that brings the end to another My Journey. Thanks, Kunal. I know everyone can reach out to you on the socials. Thanks everyone for tuning in and the questions. And yeah, until next time, when we have another Cloud Native Pioneer, keep building and remember the cloud's the limit. Thanks everyone.
Yep.